I'm going to record my birthday party yin class. So you can start with the back of the spine opener that you want. Those of you who have the mitra, I would recommend using the mitra. Those who don't have the mitra, or the back strip as we call it, I'd recommend rolling up a hand towel or really thin towel. The idea is to have it, like I say, usually not more than a fist width apart. We put the bottom edge right at the bottom of our shoulder blades, or in line with the xiphoid process.
Does it go sideways or parallel?
It goes along your spine. It goes parallel along your spine so that it massages the muscles in between your vertebrae. And it's not so wide that your shoulder blades can fall on either side.
My grandson stole my dowel, so it's not the dog, it's the grandson, so I'll just use the blanket.
We go with what we've got in these times. All right. As you're coming down, it's really, really useful to go down slowly, to put your head in the back of your hands, and to have your elbows pointing forward. Your head feels heavy, your chin is tucked to your chest. I have my legs bent because that's the traditional way of doing this in critical alignment therapy yoga. And then you come down slow, super slow. If you're lucky, you might even feel some cracks. That's just space being created. And then when you finally hit the mat with the back of your hands, you take it away. And if it feels uncomfortable in your neck, put something underneath, like a small other cushion, or maybe a block, even if that's not too much. But the idea is to be able to totally relax and feel the tool that's along your spine. No matter what it is, feel the body weight of your whole rib cage. Putting a teeny bit of pressure on it, and perhaps even opening your chest. And as we're lying here, feeling the air coming into your body and going out. Yes. In and out. Even if your animal, your fuzzy creature, is crawling on top of you. Oh, the beauty of practicing at home in your own space. Come along with me and take a deep inhale right into the bottom of your belly. Hold it there for a moment and open your mouth. As you sigh it out, feel your shoulders becoming heavier and heavier. Close your mouth. Inhale to the bottom of your pelvic floor this time. Feel the fullness of the breath. And then as you open your mouth, let the air exit from that space, moving up through your body as your torso becomes heavier and heavier. And the final one together. Let's close our mouths. Inhale all the way to the bottom of your feet. Feel the energy of the air as you hold it inside, letting it do its thing, opening your mouth, and from the bottom of your feet, letting the air travel up through your body, letting the entire day exit away. And here, as we spend a couple more moments lying on our mat, let your breath be full but soft. And if you'd like to set an intention or dedicate your practice, it's a nice time to do it. Hmm. We're going to slowly come to one side and take the tool away, but return onto our backs so that we can feel the effects of the tool, not held very long, but perhaps long enough to create a little bit of opening, a little more space in your chest, in your lungs, in your heart. And go ahead and come to one side. As I said in my email, I'm going to spend just a little bit of time on the lateral lines. The lateral lines that are going all the way from the bottom of our hand up, down, all the way down the side of our body into the side of our foot. So when we rolled last week and you felt something in your foot, you might have felt it on the outside. I felt it on the inside last week. I can feel it on the outside. So you could take your ball before we do anything and begin at the bottom of the line by rolling the outside of your foot. Yeah, just nice and soft. I've got my peanut, but your ball or the two balls together work just fine. Actually, your dowel, anything that gives you a little bit of pressure that you can just rub a little bit on the line. Okay. Let's just do the right side first. Or if you're on the left side, that's a-okay too. So remember, we don't need very long. We just do a little bit of time. And then I'm going to take my roller. Now, it depends on what kind of roller you have. You can have a small roller, or maybe you have the larger roll. The larger roll is kind of hard when we roll our calves, but you might have it. Now that line, if you remember from the image, is right along the calf. So you can kind of feel that hard shin bone. It's right along the side. So what I'm going to do is just go back and forth, rolling it back and forth. And you can put a little bit of pressure on your shin just to roll it. If you're feeling tightness in your hips, it might be originating from the lateral line in your body. Anytime you find a spot, what you might consider doing is putting pressure on. So let's say I have a spot right here, which I do. I feel a little bit of a stuckedness. I could put the pressure of my other leg on top. Now my blocks are perhaps because this is my special knee with all kinds of little issues going on, the tissue around it. We just come back to our breath, wherever you're at. I say just, but I know that it's sometimes hard to come back to your breath. And we'll let that one go. We're going to skip over the outside of the knee joint to protect that meniscus. And we're going to instead begin with our roll at the top of our hip. So where your hip joint meets your pelvis. Come on to the side. Whoa. Those of you who have been looking for dogs, you're going to feel this. This is your IT band. So what you're going to do is go slowly and move up. Now, some would find, whoa, I can feel that. Some would find something underneath their ankles a little bit more comfortable so your legs aren't in the air. Whoa. Moving all the way to the knee. Back and forth, or finding the spot that really has some sensation. Trying not to collapse your torso into the floor, okay? So that you protect your shoulder while you're doing this. Mm-hmm. You can feel the creakiness in my body. All right. I'm going to come off of that. Now, we can use the foam roller or you can use the ball. Now, I know some of you have sensitive glutes or high knees, as you like to say. So be very careful with this. We're going to go on the outside of the glute. Now, this can be done with a ball. We call this the pocket. There's that little space between the ilius, well, the outside of your hip. You can feel it probably. Can you bend that bottom, like the leg that you are rolling? It might have a different sensation. And then let's stay. Trying not to collapse too much into our shoulders or letting our shoulders go into any kind of stress. And then we're going to move that away. Just lay down for a moment and see if you notice any difference between the two sides. You might feel a tingling sensation. You might feel an openness. We perhaps should have started with our leg up in the air and then bringing it over and see how far it feels. And you could do that right now. Just take the right leg up to the sky or to the ceiling and bring it over and across. You might feel that you have a little bit more freedom than you're used to. Bring it back to the ceiling and then let it come down. And let's try on the other side. We'll test. We'll do the pre and post on the left side. So bring your left leg up into the air and then bring it over to the right side. Okay? So imprint that on your memory what that feels like. And then let's bring it back up and we'll bring it back down. Okay, so we're going to do the leg on the other side. Let's begin with the outside of our foot. I actually feel this in my knee, which is odd. But I've got some problems with the other knee now because of 40 years of it doing its two legs job. So I'm just going to stay in one area where I feel a little bit of reaction. Come back to your breath, nice and smooth. Then we're going to move it onto the calf. Again, you can feel your shin bone. It's right, do that, like right on the inside, that hard side. So you can lay down, you can have something on the other side. You can put the opposite leg on top to create a little bit more weight. I'm using my balls, but you could be using your roller. Ooh. And then let's find our spot. Perhaps stay. Then we're going to slip up over the knee joint and move it to on top of the knee joint into that IT band region. So I'm going to move. Whoa, yeah. Wow, is that wow? Is that wow? Is that? Are you starting to create some heat in your body? Yes, indeedy. And stay. And then roll yourself off. Thank God that that one is done. And I'm going to roll it into the area of my glute. So the pocket area. Just think about where, if you have a back pocket and a little bit to the, more to the inseam, that's about where it's at. There's a soft little spot that you can find. But if you'd like to move it up, you know, wherever, we each have our own little issues. I'm going to stay here. You can continue moving if you'd like. And then we're going to go ahead and take it out and lie back down. Lengthening the leg out. Now perhaps both sides feel a little bit more congruent. Maybe you have a little tingling. That's the blood going to that area. Raise your left leg to the sky and bring it over to the right side. Maybe you have even a little bit more mobility. Maybe not. We're not spending a lot of time on it, so don't be surprised if it's minute. Come back. I actually feel it quite significantly. Come back. But that's because my legs are under a lot of stress. Now the lines continue to go up from your hips all the way up into your underarms and down into your fingers. But I'm not going to roll them tonight because the best tool for that is this soft ball. So Jill Miller, who invented the tune-up method, she invented a ball that's called the Courageous Ball. But I bought this at the dollar store for $3. It's just one of those little weighted balls, you know, that has little stuff in it, and you run it up and down. Now you can do that with your roller. I see you all have kind of rollers. You can do that, but my foam roller is quite hard, and so I find it quite abrasive. You can do it with your towel roll and it'd be soft. So we're not going to do the upper body. We're going to stay pretty much with that. And we're going to start with a few yin postures. So the first, these are all of my favorites, so thank you for letting me share. The first one we're going to do is the front shoulder opener. Come onto your backs. Slide your heels towards your bum. This is Supta Garudasana, so this is cow face, but lying on the floor. So we push into our feet, lift our hips enough to take our left arm and place it palm down underneath our back. Slowly lower your hips to the floor, and you'll know right away on the front of your shoulder if that's okay. If it's too much, raise your hips back up, slide your hands down, back down towards your buttocks. If it's more space, you can slide that up towards your shoulder blades. But remember our yin principles. Find your threshold, back off a bit so that you can stay in stillness for a good amount of time. Then we're going to, once our left arm is okay, we're feeling comfortable with it, take your right arm overhead, pick up your head, looking down at your belly, bend your arm, and with your palm up towards your back, this is what it looks like. Your palm is towards your shoulder blades. Now, some of you might have your hand behind your head. It doesn't matter. We're just going to lengthen out our tricep as we're lying here. I'm staying only 2 minutes in this posture. Let's see if you might use this as an opportunity to practice your mindful meditation. I will guide you with a mindful meditation through your body. So notice the pressure that your spine has on your lower hand. Notice the sensation of the elbow bend. Moving your attention up into your shoulder. Notice if there's a tug or if you need to attend to it. With the power of your mind, can you soften the tension that perhaps you've created? How has the quality of your breath changed? What does it feel like with the back of your head resting on either your arm or your hand or the mat? Has the quality of your breath changed? And then slowly we're going to bring our chin towards our chest to lift our head up. Lengthen your right arm out overhead and then slowly bring it back beside your body. You can use your arm strength, your shoulder, and your feet strength to lift your hips up and lengthen your left arm out. Slowly lower your hips back down. And notice the sensation in the two arms. Originating in your neck, moving down to your shoulders and your elbows, your wrists and your fingertips. And then we're going to do it on the other side. We're going to lift our hips by pushing into our feet, bending our right arm underneath, palm down, and then slowly lowering our hips because we don't know how our shoulder is going to react on this side. You might have to maneuver yourself. You might have to lower your hand or bring your hand up. Try to release the shoulder. And then have the left arm come up. Pick up your head. Bend your left arm and place your hand wherever it feels comfortable on your shoulder. It might not even feel comfortable anywhere. So then it just stays straight. Because we find our threshold, back off and remain here for 2 minutes. Bring your attention to your feet. Notice the sensation of your mat or your floor on your feet. Are your toes relaxed? Can you feel the work of the rolling on the side? And without judging or fixing or analyzing, we just notice the sensation. As we move up our body, are you holding any tension in your pelvis? The lower back? What is the quality of your breath? We're going to slowly push into our feet, lift your hips away, lengthen your right arm out, lift your head, take your left arm out and bring it beside your body. I did that in reverse this time. Hopefully you're okay and you feel an opening in your shoulders. Going to slowly come to one side, just to come up onto your elbow, somewhere where you can just look at the screen. The next one is for the back of our shoulders. And before we go there, I'd like you to grab something so that you can put your forehead on. You might have to bring your forehead up quite a bit if you feel when you're laying on your belly that you can't breathe properly, because this is on our belly and it's the shoestring. If you remember, our hands are going across. So Tiffany probably has never done this. What it looks like is this on the floor. Okay? The key is to keep your ears away from your shoulders instead of coming up like that. So what I'm going to do is come onto my belly. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to come up onto my belly, take my left arm and place it in front, and then my right arm is in front of that. So my elbows are close together. I'm going to take my brick and put it so that I can still feel the tension in my shoulders, but I'm resting my forehead. Again, we're not going to stay here but 2 minutes, but still try to not have it at your threshold. You can feel it. You can feel a little bit of a stretch, or as we like to say in yin, you can feel the stress on the tissues, but it doesn't hurt. No burning sensations. Take 3 deep breaths with me. And then to come out, you're going to lift your head up and bring your elbows away from one another. Before we move to the other side, consider bringing your arms down beside your body and letting your head rest on one cheek. Letting your elbows, your shoulders collapse to the floor. And then we're going to go ahead and do it on the other side. So come back up onto your elbows. Bring your right elbow, let's see, how is it? Yeah, right elbow's in, left is in front this time. You might find that this side is different. You might find that you can take your hands farther away from one another. You might find that actually your elbows are not nearly as close this time. And you might find that the block or your forehead rest is different. It is what it is. Find your threshold, back off, and come back to your breath, and I'll take us out in 2 minutes. Take 3 deep breaths. Picking up your head. Bringing your elbows away from one another. And then bringing your arms down beside your body. Moving your head to the other side. Letting your shoulders be pulled gently towards the earth through Mother Gravity. Or Mother Earth through gravity. I think I'm getting a little relaxed already. Now I'm going to slowly come up and just take a look at the screen. The next one is a frog. And we can do our frog in various ways. We can do it one leg at a time. The frog is in its full posture, both legs out perpendicular to your body. Feet are flexed. And you can see that my body is way up off of the floor because I don't have splits in my practice. Then I bring a bolster underneath my body. Your bolster, your stack of pillows, your stack of towels, your stack of hard blankets. If that feels like no freaking way in God's green earth do I want to do that, then you can choose to do it one side at a time with me. I call this DiDi's sleeping posture. So you can even use your bolster, your stack, or you can have your body right onto the floor. And what you do with your arms depends on how comfortable it is for your shoulders. So I know I mentioned to you earlier that you can use bags of rice if you don't have sandbags, but this would be an occasion where I might use this in my own practice. And because I have it right here, I might tonight. Because it's my birthday, I might. But before I get there, I want you to play around with your lower back, okay? So do that by lowering your knee towards the end of your mat, feeling your lower back, and then moving it up toward your chest a bit more, feeling your lower back. Find the place where it doesn't bother your lower back. Those of you who do have your rice bag or your sandbag, you place it right at the hip joint. Okay, settle in. I'll watch the timer. Find the stillness of your breath. Those of you who are in double frog, or single frog, I should say, I'll let you know when we're going to switch. Notice your breath. And if it's become cumbersome, see if you might soften. Those of you in single frog with me, we're going to switch it to the other side now. Those of you in full frog, you're halfway there. So I'm going to switch it to the other side. Don't be surprised again if this side is different from the first, and you might have to bring your knee closer to, or you could bring your knee closer to your chest, or it has to maybe go down. Your knee should feel safe. Sometimes it helps if you flex your foot. If that's hard on your the bones, put something underneath and then settle in. Slowly, 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 we're going to come out of this. If you're in a double, lift yourself up onto your elbows and then your hands, take yourself away from your bolster, but lengthen your legs out slowly in any case. Come back onto your bellies and feel the effects of the posture on your inner leg, the base of your hips. And if you'd like a little bit of movement, sometimes it feels nice to bend your legs and swish your feet from side to side. The next one we're going to do is the caterpillar, and that's on our bellies. So we're going to take our bolster or our stack or your cushion, because it might be too much. The bolster or your sack might be too much. This lies widthwise, width on our, it's a long way, not parallel to our body, but perpendicular to our body. It's going to come right across our lower torso so that our lower back gets flexed in a way that's not normal for us usually. Usually the curve goes in. This is taking our lower back curve out. It feels really nice if you let your legs be relaxed and come out of your hips like they're made. So no, and try to really relax the whole pelvic floor, the whole pelvis. Everything is nice and relaxed, and your arms can be up beside your body or to the side, whatever feels good, maybe underneath your forehead. And we're going to hang out here for a couple, 3 minutes. a couple or 3 minutes, I should say. It's a nice opportunity to really imagine your spinal column and bring the air all the way to your tailbone. Thinking about the vertebra moving in a direction that they're not used to moving, compressing on the inside, opening on the outside, and bring your air to those spaces. Slowly bring yourself back into your space. We're going to move very, very slowly. Bring our knees towards our chest to simply move our tool up towards our chest, but then come onto your back. So the bottom of your towel stack, your blanket stack, is going to be in your lower back. The top is going to be, you might have to double up your blankets if you don't have a bolster. It's no biggie. The idea is to have your bum on the floor and your shoulders on the floor. Space so that your shoulders, or my shoulders aren't on the floor, but my arms are. So that's because my torso is quite short. And I am going to grab something for the back of my head so that my neck isn't so hyper curved. So I can even kind of tuck my chin a bit and lengthen the back of my neck nice and comfortably. I'm bringing it into a half mountain brook. If we had something, and if you have more tools around, you can put something under your knees. You could even put your towel under your neck which would be a full mountain brook. So you can see the wave of the knees, something's under your knees, something's under your torso, something's under your neck. Just have this one tool tonight. Let your legs flop open. If they flop open, let them flop in. If they flop in, it's posture made for your body. You slowly come out, bringing your feet towards your bum, moving slow, 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 taking the tool away, and then coming back onto your back. Nice and long. We're going to move it back into those lateral lines with a twist. So we'll access your hips and the outside of your legs and moving up into the torso. So I hope you like this, DC. This is the twisted roots. So I think we might have even done it last week, but I'm going to put a little twist into it, a little more of a twist. Take your right leg up into the air, cross your right knee over your left knee. And if you can, try to hook that foot behind the left ankle. Yeah, okay. So let the left foot stay down onto the floor. Then bring your arms out perpendicular to your body or beside your body, whatever's comfortable. Bring both knees over to the left side. If that feels too drastic, place something under your knees so they're not hanging there. But if it feels good, enjoy it and just surrender to the twist. As you're lying here, I'm going to share a poem that a friend of mine shared. She's a teeny bit older than me and she had a birthday recently, and I thought this was just so beautiful. But before I begin, I'd like you to imagine yourself walking on the beach and coming across a beautiful piece of sea glass. I know you've all seen it. I want to be like sea glass, smoothed by tides not broken. I want the currents of life to toss me around, shake me up and leave me feeling washed clean. I want my hard edges to soften as the years pass, made not weak but supple. I want to ride the waves, go with the flow, feel the impact of the surging tides rolling in and out. When I'm thrown against the shore and caught between the rocks in a hard place, I want to rest there until I can find the strength to do what is next. Not stuck, just waiting, pondering, feeling what it feels like to pause. And when I'm ready, I will catch a wave and let it carry me along to the next place that I'm supposed to be. I want to be picked up on occasion by an unsuspected soul and carried along, just for the connection, just for the sake of appreciation and wonder. And with each encounter, new possibilities of collaboration are presented and new ideas are born. I want to age like sea glass so that when people see the old woman I'll become, they'll embrace all that I am. They'll marvel at my exquisite nature, holding me gently in their hands, and be awed by my well-earned patina. Neither flashy nor dull, just the right luster, and the wonder, if just for a second, if it is exactly what it is exactly I'm made of, and how I got to be this very here and now. And we'll both feel lucky to realize once again that we have landed in that perfectly right place at that profoundly right time. I want to age like sea glass. I want to enjoy the journey and let my preciousness be, not in spite of the impacts of life, but because of them. Slowly bring your knees back to the center. Undo the cross however it is. Let both sides of your sacrum rest nice and solidly on your mat. Let the curve of that beautiful lower back come back. And then take your left leg towards the sky. Bend the left knee, or bring the left knee over the right knee. See if you might hook the right or the left foot around the right ankle. And then bring both knees over to the right side. Slowly bring your knees back. Undo the cross. Let your pelvis come back to neutral. You feel the heaviness of your sacrum on the floor. You've got your natural curve in your lower back. Everything is released. Lengthen your legs and let them flop in any way that they want to flop. Begin to bring yourself back to your space by bringing your attention to your body as it's lying on the mat. Notice the sensation of where your skin touches the mat and the floor. Notice the weight of your legs, your arms, the heaviness of your head on the floor. If you'd like to stay here, you stay here. Otherwise, begin moving your fingers and your toes nice and slow. Hands and feet. Head softly side to side. Arms and legs. Sliding your heels towards your pelvis, slowly coming to one side. And slowly helping yourself up. Feel free to join me with your hands at your heart. Perhaps moving your thumbs over a little bit so you can hear or so you can feel your heartbeat. Please send some love to yourself, knowing that I'm sending it to you. Thank you for being here with me on my birthday. I love you. Namaste.
Namaste. That was delicious. Was it?